Now, you did Tid and the Psychiatrist.
I died a death.
You died a death. It was about, what, 10 a.m. performance?
Yes, it was about 10 a.m. in 1956.
You did an expressionist piece.
Now, I came to Sydney to escape sport.
Yes.
Here I am on a sporting programme.
Sure.
Oh, well. Sure. It's terrible. It's a sign of being sold out. I came up to Melbourne, to Sydney in 1956 to get away from the Melbourne Olympic Games. I went into a pub and had a lot of beers. And I was introduced to an agent who said, I can give you a job at the Granville RSL because you're a comedian. And I went out there at 10 o'clock in the morning and I stood on a stage and I had to think of something funny to say to these people who had left the poker machines in order to listen to me. And so I did a sketch I'd done at university, which is about a psychiatrist and a cretin. I thought it was funny.
Yes.
Because I play both parts. I play the cretin and the psychiatrist. It's something Graham Murphy could probably make a ballet about. But it needed a talent greater than mine to turn it into a work of art.
Yes.
And I stood on the stage and I first of all, Dr. Humphreys, you see, so I did that to my hair. That used to get a laugh at the university.
Yes.
But it didn't.
At Granville, no.
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 And I said, well, Tid, the cretin's name was Tid. I said, well, what's the trouble, old chap? By the way, how old are you? And then I ran to the other side of the stage and I said, nearly 60. I thought that was funny.
Yes.
But not a sound.
Yeah.
Not a sound. I could never do that without exploding with laughter myself.
Yeah.
But I was wrong. It wasn't funny. And very soon, they all got up and went back to the poker machines. They turned their back on me.
Yes. Yeah. It was too savage, too cruel.
Until, well, too cruel or too unfunny, perhaps.
Yeah, well, yes.
Or expressionistic.
Yes.
But Les Foxcroft came on, and he was very funny.
Yeah.
And he said to me later, he said, as we went back in the train, he said, there are a lot of other jobs apart from being a comedian, he said. You ought to think about that.
Yes.
And he said, you need blue material.
Oh, yes, well...
And I was wearing a suit like this. I said, but I have blue... I said, this is blue material. And I meant that, you know.
Yes, yes.
He looked at me despairingly.
But eventually the act came.
But eventually, over years of persisting,
Yes.
you see, as you will find,
Yes.
if with the ABC's permission you can keep this up, people will begin to think of you as funny. They will assume you're funny. They will.
God help them.
And that's what happened to me. So people actually go along to the theatre, like the State, to see me now, but it took a long time. And I've just been up on the Gold Coast in a rugby club, performing to the same sort of people.
Yes.
But now, because of television, they think I'm funny. But I don't do Tid and the Psychiatrist anymore.
Barry, just finally, do you see Australia embracing Asia? Do you see the new Australia emerging as an Asian nation? Can you see this? No.
No, I don't think so. I don't think there's such a place as Asia. You know, there's a whole lot of countries that we call Asia, that you call Asia.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they don't all agree with each other. They're all totally different. So I don't think that's likely, I'm happy to say. I used to like Asia in Melbourne. Asia used to be Little Bourke Street and Dixon Street.
The doctor is in at the State from Wednesday if you want to go along on a consultation.
By the way,
ask him, shout out for the Tid and the cretin sketch.
But this, what is this set?
Yes, what about it?
It's like a...
Brett Whiteley did it.
It's like a smear, isn't it? It's sort of vaguely oncological.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So?
We did it.
So?
Or perhaps it looks a bit like a prostate smear.
Well, I hadn't thought of it quite like that, but now...
Well, I was trying to identify it. Or is it an Asian symbol?
Well, I think you can spend another 3 minutes.
I presume we're off the air by now.
Oh,
No, well, almost, yes.
We'd be able to spend another 3 minutes working on the set. In the meantime, Barry, if you want to borrow any of the set ideas for your own show starting on Wednesday night, feel free.
Thank you.
Thanks very much. Barry Humphries. We'll be back with more Life in a moment.
Tell the boss you'll see her in 10 minutes because you're regular naturally with Roy and HG's Date Fingers. Ice baked in paradise to seal in all their goodness. The Players Theatre presents The World of Ian with Paul Sirenen as Ian, Lisa Forrest as Susan, Cole Joy as Ian's dad, Greg Matthews as Ian's friend Cole, Annette Chunwar as Susan's friend Deirdre, and Ted Mulry as Bob the neighbour.
I appreciate your counsel, Pop, but I think you're wrong.
And let's face it, your track record with women isn't all that crash bloody hot.
Yeah. What did Mum live?
Yeah. Tell us, Pops.
Well, it was a long time ago. I remember it was on a Sunday morning.
I've had enough of you, Alan.
I see.
So I'm off, Alan.
And the boy?
He stays.
Fine. And that was the last time I ever saw her.
Gee. That's some story, Pop. Is your name really Alan, Pop?
That's right, my boy.
I never knew that, Dad.
There's a lot you don't know, Ian. And there's a lot all of us don't know.
There's a lot no one will ever know.
That's really well said, Pop.
I still love you, Ian.
You do?
Yes.
Oh.
And I'm willing to give it another shot, Bob.
Fantastic. Hey, let's all go out in the boat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on, everyone.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's go.
Come on. Come on, Dad.
No, not me. I'll just stay here with me memories.
Okay, Alan.
Hey, Alan.
Yes?
Thanks for the story and thanks for your wisdom, Alan.
Get out of here.
Come on.
Yeah, all right. Hey, you have fun, kid.
What? Hey.
Yeah, come on.
Hello, I'm Shelley Taylor-Smith and I love swimming a long way. So I've got to get a good night's sleep. That's why I got onto the Rocket Dog Bait. Dogs just gobble it up and go away.
Clear the air in your neighbourhood with Rocket Dog Bait. Australians, you've sat in the bleachers for long enough, and now it's time to strap on the boots and blow your trumpets.
Hello everyone and welcome to our tour of Australian Parliament Houses. By gee, this trumpet blowing has taken us to every capital city in Australia and we've saved the best till last. The best Parliament House in Australia without doubt is the newest. It's the Darwin Parliament House. Now this building, Roy, is modelled on the Vietnamese-Soviet friendship building in Hanoi. Roy, you went to that far-off country to draw inspiration. What took you there?
Yeah, good point. It was just not long after the mining of Haiphong Harbour, just after the Tet Offensive, you might recall. There were some fabulous satellite shots of Hanoi that we had a look at, and I just photographed them and sent them off, of course, over to the Northern Territory government. They licked their lips. They thought it was a tremendous idea. That was the result. It's almost an exact copy of the building to which HG just referred, i.e. the Soviet Vietnam friendship building there in Hanoi. Beautiful bit of construction, simple, elegant. I refer to it as the Northern Territory's Taj Mahal. Why? Because it cost $160 million. That's all. That's all.
Cheap.
$160 million to house 25 members of Parliament. 25 hopeless jokes sitting on their butts in that building doing bugger all to the power of less. You be the judge. But have a look. Visually, it is spectacular.
And up on the roof, of course, is a croc pool.
Yeah.
And down on the first
tennis
level,
court.
Tennis court and a
Yeah.
croc pool. Down on the first level there, that's where the milkfish live.
Yes.
Then we come down, we got the pythons on the next level. And
Taipans.
Taipans. It represents every species of native animal to the top end. It's a tremendous building. A zoo, a parliament, all in one.
Yep.
That's a trumpet. God, Roy, they wasted a lot of money, didn't they?
Coming up next, Clive Hale, arguably Asia's most interesting man.
Yes, welcome back to This Sporting Life, and picture this, it's time for a competition. Last week, Roy set you this cracker. Roy, take us through it.
Yes, I asked Pick the difference between the odd person out. Kevin Costner, Errol Flynn, Anthony Hopkins, Richard Green.
Yes. All the entries went in here into the big red barrel. Roy's going to pluck a winner now from the millions of entries we've got for last week's Picture This. Who's won it, Roy, and are they correct?
We've got Bronwyn Ward, Box Road, Crossroads, New South Wales. Anthony Hopkins was the only one not to have played Robin Hood. Absolutely right, Bronwyn. Congratulations. The prize is coming your way. What are people going to win this week? We're doing it this week, yes.
The hat, the Roy and HG hat. The story of George Foreman, pound for pound with Roy and HG. And, of course, because Leonard Teals died, we've thrown in this tremendous CD of where we would be without AB. And, of course, finally, yes, you wanted it. Here they come, the Bums! There they are. And remember, you can get all this gear at ABC Shop. So if you don't win a Bums, get down to the ABC Shop and ask for it by name to some lucky listener who can spot the odd thing out of these four.
Yes, very simply, pick the difference between, pick the odd person out. A, Neil Brooks. B, John Seaman. Oh, it's tough. C, Mark Stockwell. D, Greg Fasada. Send your entries to Picture This, care of ABC, or This Sporting Life, ABC TV, GPO Box 9994, Sydney 2001.
Or you can fax on 950-3466.
Yes.
And, Roy, I think a very interesting thing has erupted in Sydney Rugby League, and that is teams fielding themselves onto the paddock in the New South Wales Rugby League carrying contagious diseases.
Oh.
Now, we have an example of the East.
Look at East. Look what happens when you get people out there. What have they got? The Epstein-Barr virus.
They've got Epstein-Barr, they've got chronic fatigue syndrome, they've got hepatitis F. It's only up to C in the lab, but we've got them with F, glandular fever, touch of the bubonic plague, and I think by now we should be seeing a terrific try.
I think we've run out of time.
Have we? We've gone too far.
Oh, no, here it is!
Whoa. Now, look, here's a team in the tricolours, that's the blue, red and white, who are suffering from chronic fatigue, you heard it, and even Balmain.
Can score against them.
As in a Donald there. And let's have a look at the opposition here, because East are in a lot of trouble with their wellness, Roy.
Oh, it's great fun to watch.
Oh, it is.
I love it.
Can it work, Roy, for league?
Oh, I think sick players carrying diseases like that are tremendously entertaining. Adds that little bit of old-fashioned variety. Speaking of which, HG, that's the end of the series, and it's been marvellous working with you here at the card table once again. Been a tremendous experience, hasn't it? I've loved it.
Roy, I must say, your sincerity just oozes class, and I'd like to obviously wish you all the very best for the downtime. It's always very difficult when you get
We'll be back later in the year, will we?
Well, I think so, somewhere or other.
Nice.
Yes, it would be good. And when you're down the tool, you can go fishing and think about stabbing mottras on TAB competitions, pick the margins wise. Think about Leonard Teal too.
And link up with AB.
Well, link up, wouldn't that be tremendous? Len, Roy, HG and AB.
Yeah, Brett Whiteley.
Pretty what?
All we need's a medium.
Well, I reckon those
Other than television.
I tell you what, you know, we mentioned those fakes before. I'd love to get my hand on a fake because I reckon it's a lot.